In this episode of BEA Conversations, we are speaking with Padraic Gilligan of the Society for Incentive Travel Excellence. Padraic is the Chief Marketing Officer of SITE, and we are here to talk a little bit about the importance of being part of the community if incentive travel is important to you. Padraic also takes the opportunity to give us a little bit of a highlight of the SITE Young Leaders Conference that happened recently, that is totally organized by leaders of the next generation, as well as what's happening in the world of incentive travel now. Padraic, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Al. It's my pleasure to be joining you all the way from Ireland.
You and the SITE team have been staying very closely with our SITE community, and this week we had a very successful Young Leaders Conference, I hear. And tell us a little bit about the energy at the conference, as well as what's happening in the incentive travel world.
Well, the SITE Young Leaders event this week was just a revelation, and I think it's a great testimony to what happens when you turn over control to a generation that are, let's face it, a lot more comfortable in this kind of digital world than those of us who are kind of, let's say, the other side of 45 or maybe even 55. You know, so what we got immediately, I think, was we got the delivery of a conference through kind of a virtual methodology or a virtual means, but I feel it had an authenticity to it on the basis that it was delivered by 25-year-olds, 30-year-olds who are actually, you know, they're graduates of the digital school of life, let's say. That's what they've come through, and it's very natural for them to communicate in that way. And I don't want to sound, you know, condescending or in saying this, but it was wonderful for me to see how much energy, how much exuberance, and how much excitement they were able to create. Like, it was jumping out from my screen at me, and I felt I was actually there. The whole structure was kind of really lively. There was a DJ that was kind of acting as the segue from the different sections. There was a great liveliness around the interaction and the engagement, constant kind of questions, comments coming in. I think your second question was just in relation to incentives in general. Obviously, you know, these are challenging times. There's no doubt. Incentive travel is all about travel. You know, whatever way we look at it, we know that we're not travelers in the same way as leisure travelers are travelers, or we're not tourists in the same way as tourists or visitors of a destination, because incentive travel comes out of a corporation's need to create a performance improvement campaign. The travel is the end result of that. It's the delivery piece. It's the prize. It's what the qualifier actually wins. So it all comes from a business need, and travel is the final piece in the jigsaw. But without the final piece of the jigsaw, you don't have the picture. It's a very big piece, and without that final piece, you don't have it. We can't really travel internationally at the moment. We're definitely seeing green shoots, and I think you probably know this more than we do, because I've been looking at things online coming out of China and other parts of Asia, and certainly parts of Asia, particularly China, are really making great advances, and events are back. Very large scale events are back, and I expect domestic incentive experiences are back as well. So that's great to see, and that will happen for us too. But for the moment, international is not really happening, and it won't happen, I think, for some time more. Like the green shoots that we're seeing in terms of travel in Europe and North America and Latin America, all concentrated on the domestic market. But again, some really, really exciting new developments in terms of, you know, resorts and hotels that perhaps have not been front and center for incentive travel planners, now coming to the fore again, because they represent a really, really good quality incentive style experience within close proximity to where your qualifiers are coming from. They can drive to the resort. I heard yesterday from one of the hoteliers that he had just received an RFP for 5,000 rooms, but for individual incentive travel, which is really interesting. So, you know, this was a big global hotel group, and they were asked to bid on 5,000 rooms, where certificates would be issued in respect of those rooms to qualifiers who would then take the trip at their own time and in their own way. So again, it's incentive travel from an individual perspective has been around for many years, but I think this is the era now when I think we'll see a greater incidence of it. And I was just really interested to hear as recently as yesterday that one of the big hotel chains was dealing with that type of an RFP. So I think it shows where incentive travel is going. It's going to come back. It will start, I think, with individuals, with smaller groups, closer to home, within driving distance, and then gradually, I think, as we progress into the back end, let's say, of the pandemic, and learn to live with it, and then a vaccine comes on stream, I think we'll see the resumption of incentive travel again. And you know what? I think it's going to be stronger than ever, because there's such pent-up demand for travel experiences. And also, I think, such an appreciation of the value of a travel experience. You know, if you want me to value something, take it away from me, now I value it even more. And incentive travel has been taken away from many qualifiers in insurance companies, in the automotive sector, in the network marketing sector, in all those sectors that are big users of incentive travel. Their people have become accustomed to a travel experience, and they miss it. They really miss it. And that pent-up demand is going to bring it back stronger than ever, but with a more kind of privileged cash about it, I think. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, those are encouraging signs, Padraic. Thanks for sharing. And I know that there is a survey out there in the marketplace that we are doing, and that's closing in about 2 weeks' time. Tell us a little bit about that survey, its purpose, and why should our community participate in it?
So the Incentive Travel Industry Index, ITII, has been around for a couple of years. It's a joint initiative between SITE and two other major organizations, both based in the United States, the Incentive Research Foundation and FICP, which is the Finance and Insurance Conference Professionals organization. So it's an organization made up of corporate end users in insurance companies and financial companies. Last year, with the help actually of Business Events Asia, we were able to get a fantastic response from Asia. And as a result of that, we were able to share which details how incentive travel is performing in Asia, its nature, its purpose, its direction. So any of your readers that are interested in getting a copy of that, if they email me at pgilligan@siteglobal.com, I'll send them a copy. It's a really good publication. You might say, is it valid anymore because it's kind of pre-COVID? But it is valid because I think it shows trends that will quickly kind of pick up again once we move into the latter stages of the COVID experience that we're having. But ITII is currently in the field again. It's been live for about 3 weeks now. We're doing very well. But we really need more people to jump on and take the survey. The feedback that we're getting is that it takes about 20 minutes, and that's not that's not sort of an exaggeration. It takes that, and it needs that type of thoughtful sort of approach, because what we're trying to do ultimately is we're trying to build a roadmap for recovery. You know, we strongly feel that that survey data, the data that comes from research, is that kind of empirical evidence that you need in order to build out your future. And you know, when you can do that, you know, obviously your mental fitness is at its height, because that's when we really get excited, when we're kind of planning for the future, and when we know that there's a good chance that the future will actually unfold in that particular way. Only way we can do that is with data. And so that's what we're asking you to do. We're asking you to give us the data. Some of the questions you might say, but I don't know what incentive travel is going to be like in 2 years' time. I don't know what it's going to be like in 2 months' time with this COVID-19. That's okay. Skip that question, or you make an educated guess. But certainly the feedback so far is, I think people really appreciate the detail that there is in the survey. So please get online, take our survey, and we'll have a wonderful roadmap for the future recovery of incentive travel.
Great point, Padraic. Thank you so much. And to our community, when we send out this dedicated EDM with this video, there will be a link to that survey. So please support the community by contributing, because a collective data is going to be very helpful for us to pin what the future could look like, and we really then serve as part of our mental fitness once again. So thank you, Padraic, for your time, and we hope that we get to run again together.
Absolutely, it won't be too long. Thanks, Al. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Padraic.